Right.
Coach, within two with about 3:20 left, and you guys didn't score again. Was it just a matter of them turning up the heat, or just you guys kind of struggling to get
Yeah,
good
our
shots?
offense was bad at a time when we really needed it. Our pace was slow, taking too long to get into things, and I don't think we were terribly hard to play against from that standpoint. And that was obviously a difficult time to be doing that.
I think you were down 17 in the second quarter. The game had followed a very similar script to the first. You had to feel like when Courtney went there and scored that this game was in reach. How disappointing is it to let it get away in that fashion?
I'm disappointed that we let it get to 17. I'm more disappointed in that. I'm more than disappointed. I'm pissed that happened again.
The next question, front row center.
Yeah, Nafisa, this game seemed to be called really differently first half to second half
Sure
in
did.
terms of how hard is that? I know you guys can't say much about officiating, but how hard is it when it's that dramatically different half to half in the same game?
I mean, it's hard. You have to adjust to the refs. I mean, definitely it's not an excuse. We played really bad. So I'm definitely not using that as an excuse, but it's hard to adjust because you are playing one way and you're getting used to the refs and then they change it up. But that's not why we lost. It wasn't them, it was us. So can't blame that.
Next question, front row to your left.
Hi, ladies. Lauren from the 9450. Like you said, Coach, Liberty were up 17 points. Didn't get the outcome that you guys wanted. However, the team stayed resilient, and we saw that in the last game too. How does this team continue to kind of stay resilient and not let the game get too, it gets it's a distance between the lead. However, you guys kind of always are right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been talked about a lot. This is a group that problem solves well together. They never think they're out of it. Their belief in themselves and their belief in each other is top notch. And we know it's a long game. They're very experienced, and we just knew we had to clean up and get some things cleaned up, and we did that, and then put ourselves in position right where we wanted to be, and just couldn't get over the hump.
The next question, second row to your left.
Hey, Coach, to follow up on that, in the second half, Fee getting in foul trouble a bit. How did that affect the game and just overall switching the lineup when you guys needed her in the most?
I don't think it affected the game. I don't know if it affected her play. I mean, Fee can answer that, but it was a chance to get her 3 minutes of rest, and at the end of the quarter, that was fine. So and then she went back in, so it didn't affect us.
The next question, front row center.
Cheryl, what was the difference you saw in Benijah Laney Hamilton tonight? I mean, Sandy said she's not been 100% this postseason, but her kind of being that X factor tonight, what difference did she make?
Huge difference, right? So both games they've gotten, help from a part of their, they have a big five, right? Their starters are all very capable, just like our starters are all very capable. And you need players beyond your stars. And for 2 games, they've done that. And, we're having trouble getting that consistently, and we've got to have that.
Next question, standing all the way in the back to the right.
Nafisa or Lan, either. Not the result you wanted today, obviously, but is there some encouragement that you came here, you got the 1 win, you go home still having stolen home court advantage, you get to play the next 2 at home?
I mean, yeah, obviously you want to steal one on the road. We're really disappointed, I think, in how we played today, but excited to go home, play in front of our crowd, and we have to respond. We have to come out playing better than we did in these 2 games. It's hard. Like, we're both competing for a championship. You have to play with a level of desperation from the very beginning. So that's what we're going to need to do to come out with in game 3.
Next question, front row to your right.
To that end, is it harder to play with desperation when you get a 4th foul, when you're in that moment? And do you have to sort of change the way you're thinking about how to close out, how to attack on the defensive end?
I honestly don't think I changed my mindset. I feel like I stayed aggressive on defense. I was frustrated that I had those 4 fouls, but I don't think it affected me in the way that I was playing.
Third row to the right. All the way to the right, third row.
Hey, Cheryl, Alana's defense has been outstanding on JJ. Obviously, there are times she gets help, but for the most part, she's doing an outstanding job, I think. Can you talk about her play?
Are you her uncle?
Do I look that old?
No, I happen to agree with you that, Lan is, I had a chance to talk to Joe Ingles. I didn't know if I had told Lan this when we were in Minneapolis, and he asked me how I liked my Australian, and And we talked about all the ways that we love the way that Lamb plays and her level of compete. And that's what Joe said. He's like, one thing you're darn sure an Australian's going to do is they're going to compete their tails off. And Lan is the very definition of that. Doesn't matter how big, doesn't matter how difficult it is. Lan is always there for us in that way.
Next question, fifth row, all the way to the right in the back.
Cheryl, you played Heidemann a lot of minutes, especially down the stretch. I mean, what did she give you, and what was she really providing for the lineup that you had? on the
We
floor?
were trying to get another ball handler out there, somebody that they had to pay attention to, try to get downhill a little bit, try to create some easier opportunities playing with flow. Setups weren't necessarily, producing anything for us. And so we just thought spread the floor and play with two ball handlers.
Anyone else? Fourth row to the number two there, fourth row.
All the way back. Hey, Cheryl. Sabrina, what changed in how you guys approached guarding her between the first quarter and the final three? Did anything change or, yeah?
Well, I mean, she had, what she would have, 12? And she had, 10 of them were in fast break. 10 of them were fast break. So what changed is she wasn't able to get it in the fast break, and we had her in the half court.
Front row to the right.
Cheryl, I'd ask you a similar question about Brianna Stewart, knowing how game one ended and the play she was involved in and trying to game plan for her in this game, assuming that she might try to make up for that in some form. What did you see coming in and what did you see today?
I think Stewie's the same. I don't think that making her missing a shot or a free throw, I mean, you guys, we do this long enough that those things happen. She's resilient. She played exactly like we thought she would. I thought she played great in game one. And so, I think her impact defensively was something that we felt. But she have 7 steals. And so, then she's been doing that in this playoff. So, but I think it's more than that. It had nothing in my mind. I mean, you have to ask Stewie, but I don't think that's what was on her mind. I think what was on their collective minds was it's a must-win game for them. And they came out and they played like it was, and they took the game.
We have time for just a couple more. Front row center.
Yeah, Coach Reeve, you said there's things obviously you've seen both these games, that you guys can do a lot better. Is there some comfort in that of knowing, you're coming out with a split, even though you probably feel like you haven't played your best in either one
Yeah,
of these games?
but I think the opponent has, a fair amount to do with it. So we've got to come up with, better opportunities and better things that we can do offensively, so we can get back to our little bit more of a balanced scoring. And so I think that's most important to say is New York's had a lot to do with this.
Next question, and this will be our last question. Front row to the left.
Hey, Coach Corey from the 9450. How important is the bench in a series like this when it's tightly contested like it is? Two great teams. How important is your bench going to be able to help you out with going swing?
Yeah, I mean, you've got players that are playing a lot of minutes, a lot of heavy minutes, and anytime you can get your bench to come in and be productive and you can keep them out there longer, that's an advantage. But I don't think either bench has been necessarily a separator. We talked about Heidemann in the last game. She scored it. I think she had 10, right? So that was impactful. But both teams are looking for anywhere else you can go so that you don't have all this pressure on your top players.
Alana, Cheryl, Nafisa, thanks.
Thanks.